On tonight's video, we will be telling you 3 scary haunted Chuck E. Cheese stories that you've never heard of. And for you brave ones out there who will watch all throughout the whole video, please make sure to leave a like. Our goal on tonight's video is 30,000 likes. If that like mark is not reached, Chucky will come to your dreams and haunt you. Leave a comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Here are the brave winners from last time. So without further ado, let the nightmares begin. The sky tubes at Chuck E. Cheese's. All of my friends want to go in. It was such a delight to crawl up there and horse around where the adults couldn't yell at you for being too loud or scratching your butt. The sky tubes were total freedom. I was 6 years old and excited as heck to go to Chuck E. Cheese with my best friends Patrick and Angel. As soon as we got there, we ran away from Angel's big sister and made a move on all of our favorite games. This was a brand new Chuck E. Cheese, so each game was working perfectly and everything was amazing. Angel's sister was busy at the table doing homework, occasionally peering around for us. Suddenly, Angel and Patrick realized what was right above us, the beloved sky tube. I told them I'll meet them up there in a second. I had to go pee after drinking about 5 cups of soda and was having a crazy sugar rush. I'll never forget their smiles. They were so happy. I keep that picture in my mind all these years later, wishing and hoping that I could forget what happened next. I came back out and ran to the entrance of the sky tube. Munch's make-believe band was playing a cover of the song All Star, and the few other children that were on there that weekday were dancing and cheering. I called out to them, "Hurry! Hurry! We're missing the show!" But there was no answer. The end of the tube where you could crawl in was oddly smooth and closed, as if no one was able to crawl in the first place. I knew I saw them crawl in through a hole there, yet here I was questioning my reality. Munch's make-believe band played louder and louder. It was so distracting, only I noticed the first signs of flames and smoke rising out of the plastic tubes. Hey! Hey, there's smoke coming out of the tubes! I yelled. A manager came running out and quickly realized that the entrance of the sky tube was completely sealed. What? You guys, why is this like this? She screamed at her employees. Turn off the band, turn it off! The employee struggled to turn the animatronics off as she dialed 911, but the band kept playing, louder and louder. I need everyone to get out of here, she pleaded as more and more smoke came out of the tube. Angel's sister began crying and screaming out for Angel and Patrick. Please, tell me they're not in there, oh my god, she said with agony in her voice. There were screams from inside the tubes and banging of their fists on the plastic, which were engulfed into flames. But we were all unable to help them. The fire department came just in time for Munch's make-believe band to screech out their happy birthday song. That day I witnessed the impossible. My friends were trapped inside a sky tube that was perfectly fine one moment and a death trap the next. They were cooked alive, as if they were just another ingredient going into the Chuck E. Cheese pizza oven. I guess we'll never be able to explain what happened to them, but I'm begging you, stay out of those tubes. Eric had just turned 17 and was finally able to get a job and start making some cash. Although he wasn't too excited about how he was going to be doing it. Today was his first day working at Chuck E. Cheese. But the worst part was that he was being forced to get into the rat suit. Are you sure I should be doing this on my first day? He asked the manager sadly. Don't worry, you'll be fine. No one ever complains once they've gone into the suit. he said with a smirk. Eric started changing out of his normal clothes. This is when he noticed something strange. The fur on the suit felt warm and strangely soft. It felt like a real creature. He was impressed by the quality of it though. He had definitely seen some ugly Chuck E. Cheese suits as a child. He finished putting on the suit and prepared to make his Ticket Splash debut with the kids. He bursted out the doors carrying a large basket of tickets. All the kids ran and screamed joyously around him. He began feeling nervous and hot, but continued throwing tickets and dancing with the kids. But soon the suit was tightening around his face, tighter and tighter. He tried to ask for help, but it seemed as if none of the kids or parents surrounding him could hear him. Looking out of Chucky's eyes felt like staring out of his own. "Help me! I can't breathe!" he yelled, but still no one heard him. He ran into the bathroom where he hesitantly tried to pull the Chucky head off. He felt pain shoot down his spine. The more he pulled on the head, the more painful it got. He pulled with all of his strength to take the gloves off, but it was no use. He screamed through tears, "Somebody please!" He couldn't see his eyes through the holes in the suit anymore. Instead, he only saw large, beady rat eyes staring back at him. He ran to the employee lounge where he planned to get his cell phone and call for help. But as soon as the door swung open, he saw the manager. "Eric! Hey, buddy! You're just the man we've been looking for!" "We?" Eric looked around through his rat eyes. In the shadows of the break room sat all different Chuckies, each one from a different era. 2 had a bowler hat, and 1 had a skateboard. "Help me! Please help me! Help me!" Their voices echoed into the ears of his suit, but no one else appeared to hear him. His manager smiled and said, "I told ya. No one ever complains once they got the suit on." It was a stormy night outside, but all was okay inside Chuck E. Cheese. We were so used to the rainy weather that it never bothered us. I was about 10 years old, just having a play day with my sister Katie. We did all the obvious things. Eat pizza, go in the ball pit, pull each other's hair, kids things. Our grandma took us and she loved us a lot, but she was always a bit sleepy these days, and a little out of it. She sat at a table with a salad and a romance book, seemingly unbothered by the chaotic children around her. We were playing skee ball, which was located right next to the front of the entrance. We noticed that a man in a baseball hat, sunglasses, and a coat kept walking back and forth with a small dog on a leash. It was just a little chihuahua, Katie's favorite. She had been begging for a dog the last few months and jumped with excitement when she saw it. The guy smiled at her through the window. We couldn't help but smile back since the dog was so cute. He pointed at the dog and then made a hand gesture for us to come outside. We looked at the table Grandma was at, and she was still immersed in her book, so we opened the door and let ourselves out. We both began petting the dog, and he said, "Hey, he has brothers and sisters. You want to meet them?" We nodded excitedly, and he said, "They're over here in my car. They're really tired, so I left them in there." We started trailing behind him, and a second later he turned and said, "Only problem is that they don't like boys. Whenever they're around little boys, they bite and get very anxious. You wouldn't want that, would you?" I guess not," I said naively. "Good. So go back and play. She'll be back after she sees the puppies." "Okay," I said. Katie looked at me sadly and said, "Aw, I wish you could come." I wish I had came too. I remember her brown eyes and freckles, her blue shirt with flowers on it, and her 2 crooked teeth like it was yesterday. I wish I had gone with her. I wish I had protected her. Her bones were found just a few miles away from Chuck E. Cheese. She will be a kid forever. Chuck E. Cheese. Fun, friends, family, and food. All the things you need in life. It feels as if nothing compares to Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties. I was finally turning the big 1-0, an age I was looking forward to my whole life. Obviously, I wanted to celebrate my birthday at Chuck E. Cheese with all my classmates from school. Invitations went out a week prior to the day. All my classmates were super excited and was the talk of the week. The night before the big day had finally came, and I was so excited that I couldn't even go to sleep. Suddenly, I woke up. I have accomplished 5 hours of sleep, thank God. I was ready for my big day. I arrived at Chuck E. Cheese on a Saturday morning right when they opened. My parents started setting up the whole private tables we have RSVP for. One by one, my classmates started showing up, and I was so happy I even teared. Emotions run through me knowing that my kid years were ending, and slowly I was turning into a teen. Hey everyone! Thank you for coming to my birthday! Free food and coins for everyone! I yelled. Cheers from all my classmates erupted from excitement. We started to let the good times roll as we ran to the arcade games. Hey, I have a good idea. Let's all gather up our tickets and get Danny a big prize. My classmate Arnie screamed. We all agreed and started winning jackpots. Hours passed of arcade fun. Honey, we are ready to cut the cake now, my mom yelled. We looked around at each other knowing we need someone to cash in the tickets in the ticket machine. I'll do it, Anna said. Are you sure? It's lots of work. Yeah, I'll be fine. Go blow your candles. We all ran back to the table to blow the candles out as Chuck E. Cheese and the band sang me happy birthday. This day was amazing as we live in a small town, so we were the only party/group inside the Chuck E. Cheese. I made the best wish to never grow up and stay young forever. Everyone clapped as I blow my candles. Nothing can ruin this day. Oh my God! We heard a woman scream. We ran back to the arcade room where we left Anna thinking she won a jackpot of her life, to come to see the most gory image that would never leave my head forever. Anna's scalp was gone. What happened? I yelled. My hair got stuck in the ticket machine. She fell to the floor on her pile of her own blood. Her brain was visible for everyone to see, and her hair and all of her scalp was clogged in the ticket machine. I fell to my knees and bursted into tears, screaming, "Help! Someone help us!" Months passed and police contacted my family to show us what actually happened that day. The tape shows Anna was putting tickets in the machine. She took her eyes off the machine to look back at the birthday candles being blown out as Helen came from behind her and secretly tied her long hair to the ticket strip. Knowing how strong the machine is to suck up her hair, rumors have it that Helen does this as she is just jealous that she could not grow her own hair and only feathers. So next time you're at Chuck E. Cheese, please, just please, stay away from Helen. There was once a Chuck E. Cheese in my town. It was always fun to pass by and see the kids, the parents, and the parties. But one day it was closed, never to be reopened, all because of me. Me and my best friend Ralph loved Chuck E. Cheese with all of our hearts. Every Wednesday, our parents would generously give us $10 of tokens so we could go play by ourselves after school. We were in 6th grade now. Schoolmates would make fun of us for our obsession, but we didn't care. We were grateful to get our tokens each week. Today was different though. We had hatched a genius plan. I had told my mom I was sleeping at Ralph's, and Ralph had told his mom he was sleeping over at my house. We were on a mission to stay overnight at Chuck E. Cheese. We chose the ball pit as our hiding spot, so when it was about 5 minutes to closing, we each made sure no one was looking, and then ducked our heads beneath the multicolored balls. The announcement that they were closing came, then the lights turned off one by one. We breathed as quietly as possible and tried to stifle our giggles about how we were actually getting away with this. The employees cleaned up for what seemed like an eternity, but after 20 minutes had gone by since we had heard any voices or the door close, we erupted out of the ball pit with such force and excitement that the balls flew over the net and across the room. "Luke, we did it!" Ralph screamed in absolute joy. All of the lights were off except for the stage, where we could clearly see Munch's make-believe band looking excited as ever. We walked around the room filled with dark screens, wondering what to do next. Everything seemed normal at first, until it wasn't. I had been staring at Helen up on the stage for just a moment when I turned around and Ralph was nowhere to be found. "Ralph!" I called out. No answer. He must have gone to the bathroom, I thought to myself. I waited 5 long minutes. The more I stared at Chucky, the more I saw his grin widen. I have to be imagining this, I thought. My heart began racing. "Ralph!" I called out as I walked backwards toward the bathroom. Suddenly, not wanting to take my eyes off Chucky, to my horror, there was no answer again. I finally let my eyes slip away from Chuck. As I ran into the boys' room hoping to see Ralph, I looked under each stall, nothing. I began hyperventilating, and I ran back into the dimly lit room. My heart fell to the floor as I noticed something missing. All of the animatronics were up there, except Chucky. "Ralph!" I screamed out at the top of my lungs now, absolutely terrified. Suddenly, I heard a soft cry coming out of the ball pit. There was Ralph's hand, desperately reaching out of the pit as if he was drowning. But before I could reach him, he was pulled down underneath completely, where he shrieked like I've never heard anyone shriek before. "Ralph!" I yelled, ready to jump in, but it was too late. Slowly, a substance began leaking from the pit and overflowing all over the balls. It was blood. Out of my peripheral vision, I saw Chuck. He was smiling by the soda fountain, a huge knife in his hands. He raised his hand up and waved at me. "Are you having fun, Luke?" he said with a huge laugh. With my adrenaline taking hold of me, I sprinted for the door, knowing it was locked and I knew I needed something to break the glass. "Come on, I just want to play," I heard Chuck's voice say as he traveled closer. Thankfully, I saw a chair that had been placed near the door, left by a night shift employee. I grabbed it and I hit the glass as hard as possible. It cracked, but it didn't break, only causing an alarm to go off. "Ah!" I screamed out of frustration. I hit it 2 more times before it broke. Without hesitation, I leaped out the hole, cutting my arms and legs as I did. I was halfway through the parking lot before I looked back. Chuck stood there looking through the window and waved one last farewell with the hand, but not his hand. Ralph's.
Wow.
You made it all throughout the whole video and listened to all these scary Chuck E. Cheese stories. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud. You guys are very brave, man. I love that. The next one, it won't be all candy and rainbows. It's gonna be worse. Keep an eye out. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hey guys, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click that thumbs up button. It really does help push the video out there. Also, comment and share this video. And of course, subscribe. Thank you guys.